Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Fantastic Four issue 24. And I really enjoyed this issue. It was a nice kind of palate cleanser after what we've dealt with like the whole Empire and Fallout and everything like that. And just delving a little bit more into the history of the Fantastic Four, specifically pertaining to the event of Iceman joining the Fantastic Four. So we start off this issue and we see that there's a party that's going to be thrown that celebrates Nikki the Skrull and Joe the Kree being adopted by Ben and Alicia. And we see that Johnny is kind of worried because he doesn't feel that he's stepped up and has been acting like a grown up and more been acting like an overgrown child. Sky, of course, takes this to go to the complete marriage route and be like, we haven't even had a first date yet. He's like, no, chill, calm. We're not going there yet. Just need to figure that out. Then, of course, we see everybody else getting ready for the party. We see that Alicia's with Nikki and getting her into a dress and everything like that. And Nikki, of course, kind of liking it and really approving of it. We then see that Joe is wearing New York Yankees jersey and everything. Is like, yes, this is my team now. And him talking about the whole kind of different kind of rivalry between baseball teams. And the men's like, you can wear other shirts and stuff than that. He's like, more? What kind of decadent world is this? We also see that Reed and Valeria are doing a kind of techno thing and are all greased up and all dirty. And Sue's like, dinner, man. And they're like, sure. Hey, can you just turn the grease spots and everything invisible? And she's like, I will turn you invisible. So, of course, one of the last people that they are trying to figure out where they are is Franklin. And they find out that he's not in the house. Sue's able to call him, and he's on Krakoa, pretty much doing a kind of D&D kind of session with his friends or whatnot, or just hanging out. I don't know if they say that it's his turn, and a couple of them are arguing that like somebody needs to heal them because they're almost going to die or something. And I'm like, yeah, totally get that scenario. I'm usually the healer in those cases, or have healer-like abilities to make sure that whoever is doing whatever they're doing in that scenario can make it out in time. So I'm like, I completely understand this conundrum. And, of course, he's dressed up in his X-Men outfit and has his ear pierced with an X-Men logo thing. And so he's like, when did you get your ear pierced? Okay, yeah, I'll be home for dinner. Okay, bye. And see, it's kind of a problem, but not really. The main issue is the communication aspect of this, because there is a portal that is really close by that he is able to move from New York to Krakoa very easily. The problem is, since he is considered a mutant, if he is not communicative of, I am going over to my friend's island in the mutant nation, they don't know if he has been forcefully taken to continue to do whatever the mutant nation wants. So that's why you kind of have to communicate more with that kind of stuff. Granted, I understand that he's got his teenage rebellious pants on and is trying to figure some stuff out. But you have to think about that stuff, especially when they could essentially start like fighting each other over that. You don't want that. So Iceman volunteers and is a pretty cool dude about it to take him home, and they kind of blast off. They're able to get through the portal, get to the house, and the house recognizes him as a member of the Fantastic Four. So he goes and is like, yeah, your computer system still has me in there as a FF member. Johnny, of course, is pissed off and been like, that did not count. And, of course, they start getting into a big kerfuffle, and then we, of course, get back into the whole explanation of this event. And it's really kind of cool, because I've liked the art style that we have in the present when they're explaining everything. And then we go into a style that emulates the kind of 1960s kind of style when the FF kind of first appeared on the scene. And it's done very well. It doesn't feel like that it's done in poor taste or really done badly. It fits very well, and I really like following it through. So we go back and we see that Johnny's getting all this fan mail, and they're like, because Ben was helping up the mailman with all this, it's like, oh yeah, look, I'm the greatest and everything. Ben, of course, is kind of pissed off about that and decides to, in the kind of least communicative way possible, tell him to cool his ass off by ripping a silk off the wall and blasting him with water. He's like, screw this noise! I don't need any of you! Blasts off. And it's like, okay, that's not good for him to quit the FF like that. We then switch over and see that Iceman had a scenario at the X-Men where he found out that they had put safety protocols in the danger room for him, and he wanted them to take it off, and they did, and he got his ass kicked, and a lot of the people were laughing at him, and he decided to leave because, Johnny was kind of comparing their scenario, saying like, "Oh, you probably thought you were better than the X-Men." He's like, "No, I didn't. I felt like I was useless for the X-Men." I'm like, "God damn, it sucks, Iceman. I feel for you." So we then see that Iceman has left, and that at the same time that Johnny left, that there was issues going on in the city that the Fantastic Four had to take care of, and they had to deal with AIM and their giant freaking energy tank, and they were like blasting some stuff over. Sue was trying to help these people, but they were kind of trapped by the fire, and of course Iceman pops and is like, "Hey, can I help you guys?" Very polite and nice and respectful and everything, and he starts helping them and taking out all the people and everything. And then we see that Johnny is entertaining all these people at this kind of like soda shop, sees everything going on the TV, is pissed off, and decides to fly off. We see that Iceman had dealt with a lot of different kind of things like Doombots, Red Ghost and his like superior ape people, all these other different kind of things going on in this one day. It was, well, I don't know if it was one day, but like in this short time span. But of course, then they're dealing with this giant interdimensional dude with a giant mecha hammer, and they're like, "Yeah, we gotta have to deal with that thing because it's putting off some weird ass energy." Of course, Johnny pops in and starts fighting Iceman, and of course, Iceman's pretty much just trying to defend himself. But of course, while this is going on, they're not doing what they need to do to make sure that this giant interdimensional being doesn't fuck shit up. Of course, Sue puts them both in bubbles and be like, "You're not helping." And of course, Iceman apologizes, and so does Johnny. And Reed gets the idea to cause an endothermic reaction on his hammer. So Iceman heats it from one end. Iceman ices it up from one end. Johnny heats it up from the other and kind of destroys the hammer and sends him back to his dimension. And then, of course, that's kind of where it ends out, and we see that Professor Xavier uses his telepathy to get in contact with Iceman and go, "Hey, come back," because, of course, his teammates saw him like, "Wow, maybe we shouldn't have laughed at him," and everything like that. He's like, "All right, cool." He needs all of the X-Men. He's like, "Thank you very much. I gotta go do my stuff." Johnny, of course, apologizes and says he didn't really mean leaving the team. Ben, of course, is like, "Hey, I quit like 3 times a month. What the hell are you talking about, man?" So everything's good there. And then we find out that Johnny was just be like, "Hey, that means that you would have been the first substitute member." But he realizes that this family is better as it gets bigger, and that he acknowledges and accepts him as part of the family, which is really nice as we see him all sitting down to have that dinner and everything, with everybody being very cool. So it was a very nice kind of issue to kind of get into everybody's kind of headspace, explore a thing of whether Iceman really was in the Fantastic Four or not. And this pretty much put him in like, yeah, he was with the Fantastic Four and is considered a member of the Fantastic Four, which is kind of a cool thing. I didn't have any problems with that or whatnot, and I really liked how it was done and showing what was going on in that. I'm like, all right, cool. And we see that the whole dinner kind of goes off and everything's okay. Sue even turns the earring that Franklin has in his ear invisible and is like, "All right, fine, if that's what lets you be okay with it, we're cool." This issue also had like the part with because it was really heftier than usual, and it had like this thing with Thor and Galactus and the whole Fortnite crossover. That was enjoyable, but I'm like, okay, cool, extra, I'm all right with that. And yeah, I really enjoyed this issue and can't kind of wait to see where the next kind of story arcs will go. And I really think that this was an important one to kind of have a kind of lull period, because you kind of need that after big events. Sometimes it's just one issue, sometimes it could be like a little story arc that deals more with character moments rather than big action. But I can't wait to see where they move forward with the Fantastic Four now that we've got 2 new members with Nikki and Joe, and how Franklin and Valeria kind of handle that, and how the whole kind of team handles this new dynamic with new members of the family, and kind of where other characters are going to be heading. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Franklin's story and Johnny's story, since they seem to be being pushed kind of more to the forefront in what they're dealing with. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.